Okay. Have I figured this out properly? Okay. All right. We're live on both Zoom and and YouTube. So high tech here. Oh dear. Okay, cool. So hello everybody on YouTube. Let me just adjust this a little bit as well. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna be monitoring the chat on Zoom, just FYI. So if anybody is in the live chat there, I probably won't see it. So don't take that as me being rude. I don't think I can monitor both at the same time by myself. So hello everyone here on Zoom as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So yes, the chat on Zoom will be open. And yeah, then at the end I will open it for questions. So yes, the live stream will stay up on YouTube, and the Zoom recording for sure will be back in the inner temple in the back end. So for if anybody wants to watch the replay or they can't watch the whole thing, the replays will be available, just so you know. Okay, so wonderful. Welcome. Let me just get into this. So as this is a live, it's gonna be, the start is a little less coherent than my normal podcast episodes on YouTube. So thank you for your patience. Okay, so, all right. How is everybody doing today? How are you feeling? Good. See thumbs up here. Amazing. Yeah, so let's see. I had a bunch of people say they wanted to join live, and we'll see how many actually show up. But yeah, again, the replay, I always make them available. So, all right. Yeah. Let's see. So I have a lot of notes. I have a lot to say about today and the energies that we're in the midst of as well. So bear with me. This is going to be, a lot of information coming, because I just want us to be all really anchored and grounded in the magnitude of the energies that we're experiencing, how rare and incredibly beautiful everything is that we are experiencing, and how it's all really connecting in a very profound way. So yeah, it's quite a special time right now, and we know that we've been on this journey for some time, pretty much all of us here, right? But it's really coming to a head. It's coming to a convergence. It's absolutely a cosmic convergence, a convergence on cosmic galactic levels. So we are at the forefront of incredibly transformative times. We are in a massive transition that is of a cosmic and galactic scale. So those of us who are actually attuned to it, it's beautiful and it's magical. And there's also a degree of responsibility, I want to say, that comes with this level of consciousness, that, we are being called to really show up for ourselves and for the collective, to be a pillar of light, to really anchor in these frequencies of consciousness, because it impacts the actual grid of Gaia, of course, not just our body temples. So we are the conduits, we are the bridges for these frequencies to come through. And it's really quite an honor to be awake and alive, and it can feel like a lot. So just a reminder to give yourself a lot of grace as we move through these energies, because it can feel like a lot at times. I am well aware, and I know most of you are well aware of this at this point as well. But yeah, just to remember to keep focusing on the light and the love, not as a bypass, but as a beacon to bring us back into that frequency, to help us remember that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that we are being guided and supported. So yeah, okay, so that was a whole spiel that that's what wanted to come through to open this up. So welcome. I see we have more people joined on YouTube as well. Amazing. Thank you for being here. Welcome. So I'll be probably focusing my attention a little bit lower than that screen there. But yes, so again, welcoming everybody who has joined on YouTube. Thank you. Hello, hello. Welcoming everybody who is here on Zoom. So we are going to tune into the cosmic field in this transmission, the comets, the calendar convergence that is occurring today, this golden timeline convergence, but also the mother codes that are coming in. So broadening this out into the bigger picture of what this is all opening up for us and how it's all connecting, coalescing, converging for us to really connect with, as well as I want to really touch on Ophiuchus in particular, because 3i Atlas, which we're going to get into, is moving through very specific constellations, Ophiuchus being one of them, and this is the forgotten constellation, the forgotten zodiac sign. It's not a forgotten constellation, but it's the 13th zodiac sign that actually is the gateway to the Galactic Core. It's the golden gateway. And then, so we're going to get into a little bit more of that, but I do want to touch on this because I do feel that the energies it carries are incredibly potent, because it is about healing and merging the masculine and the feminine. So is it perhaps no surprise that this zodiac sign, this constellation, has kind of been excised from our typical zodiac? So then we're just going to bring it back into this basic idea of the spiral of time as well. So we're basically here weaving this cosmic tapestry by seeing all of these different events and phenomena, not as separate, but as multiple reflections of this singularity that we are moving into, this convergence of timelines, this collapsing of timelines into the 0 point field. So we're at a turning point now is what I'm feeling for this. So what if the phenomena in the skies are not just random, not just coincidence, but they're actually a reflection of consciousness speaking directly to us, sending us signals, frequency encoded messages, right? This will activate our cosmic remembrance, and that is the great lesson of our time, because the cosmos is the frequency of pure love. And I've been really feeling into that as it connects to the veil, because I received the message of dissolving the veil for the upcoming solar Samhain, the Samhain portal. And I feel that this is all connecting in an incredibly profound and potent way. So here today with the golden intersection, or the golden convergence of timelines, we're experiencing this calendar. It's more of a 3D perspective, but I'm going to get into this of the convergence of timelines. So it's kind of representative and symbolic of us accessing now this 0 point field. And so energetically, when we attune with intention to this field of consciousness, we open up that possibility. So 3i Atlas, again, we're going to get into what it really is. Another name that I really resonate. The breath that nurtures union is the meaning of it. And, what's in a name? Why did they, 3i, third eye, but it's the third interstellar object. But what about the Atlas symbolism there? So we're going to look at that as well, because I find it quite fascinating. Is Atlas shrugging, so to speak? And the planetary trajectory, or its trajectory through the planetary spheres, is probably the better way of putting that, and its activation of the planets, as well as the symbolism of the specific constellations it's moving through. So accessing this opening point, this window to the Holy Mother God fields is how I'm really feeling this. So, okay, let's get into the comet. So what is 3i Atlas? What or who is it? So everybody agrees that this is a very interesting and rare phenomena. The scientific community is fascinated by it. There's all sorts of narratives put forth by NASA as well. Hello on YouTube. Thanks for chiming in. So I guess I can see the comments. I don't know if I'll be able to catch every single one. So it's got some physical anomalies. They're calling it a comet, obviously, but then certain even scientific individuals are also saying, hey, there are some aspects of it that, it's got some trajectory aspects and some physical aspects that make it seem perhaps not like a comet. So that's kind of interesting that even the scientific community is kind of wobbling in its narrative. So the physical anomalies, including composition and trajectory, are very real. So it does create fertile ground for speculation, and naturally the spiritual community has brought forth all sorts of other theories. The galactic community has obviously put forth these theories that it is a ship, a mothership, but bringing it back to we'll get into a lot of those theories as well, but bringing it back to comets, because comets are ancient messengers. They're archives of creation that carry code through the skies. So in that sense alone, calling it a pure comet, it is still bringing us into the sense of wonder, of beauty and awe and expansion as it graces the night sky with its brilliance. So even from a more 3D perspective, it's still activating our hearts and this frequency of consciousness that is extremely expansive and open, right? So this is what the comets have done through time immemorial. These, what do they call them? Fire drake is coming to mind. Is that a term that they've used for comets in the past? But basically these shooting, the dragons of fire through the sky, even just like pure beauty and wonder moving through the celestial tapestry. So 3i Atlas, we're going to get into the Atlas aspect, but it's activating our whole solar system, but certain planets in particular. So I'm going to get into that. But first, I just want to anchor this as well, that one of the names that has been given to this comet through someone that I follow and resonate with a lot in the spiritual community is Amahed, the breath that nurtures union. And it is a she, a frequency of the feminine, according to this individual. And when I was tuning in with that, it really resonated on a deep level. What's in a name? Quite a lot, actually. That's kind of a narrative that was interestingly distorted. Names carry codes, names carry meaning, and the breath that nurtures union, when we really feel into what that means, it's really quite incredibly beautiful. So I'm going to unpack that a layer. So to me, it's not just a comet. It is not just a piece of ice and dust, but this is an ancient frequency of consciousness, or a being of consciousness even, that originates from outside our solar system. And I was tuning in with her this morning. I'm going to call her a her. And I received some really beautiful messages that I'm going to share as well, to just encourage us to really anchor these frequencies in through our heart. So I'll share those in a bit. But then, we also have the comets Swan and Lemon. Swan is in Ophiuchus. So Ophiuchus is really being highlighted right now by these comets. So it's activating the sense of remembrance and reactivation of forgotten codes. So Ophiuchus, again, is connected to the galactic center. So it's calling us to heal, but also come back to center, to reconnect with the energies of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine. So he is the serpent bearer. The serpent is in this pure context, the most ancient image of the great goddess. So obviously the serpent coding, which I have spoken of in, previous podcast episodes and such, is very, very distorted. It has been inverted and co-opted a lot, but I've also been speaking into this notion of restoring the original organic templates of the feminine consciousness that has been so heavily suppressed, desecrated, inverted, so on and so forth. So lemon, we have swan and lemon. Swan is just pure grace, that feminine frequency. And well, I had my lemon water this morning. I haven't gotten super deep into these comments, but they just kind of expand the picture a little bit more. It's just these extra codes that are coming in. So lemon reaches its perihelion, which means its closest approach to the sun, on November 8th. And that is just 2 days after the solar Samhain. So Samhain is this portal across quarter holy day, right? And a lot of people associate with pagan traditions, but if we're attuning to the solar movements, it's the equinoxes, the solstices, and the cross quarter days, right? So it's just connecting again with the cosmic timeline, the cosmic calendar. So 1300 years ago it passed through. So this isn't a brand new one, but it is kind of acting as another level of spiritual invitation. So what if, as these comets activate our solar system and trigger remembrance, what if this is not here to tear a veil through the firmament and collapse the sky onto us, but what if this is a correction that is going to help dissolve the false firmament, the false veil, the veil that has been separating us from the pure love and light of the cosmos, from Holy Mother, Holy Father, God source, from the original source of. If this is the case, then it is restoring that original separation of consciousness, the illusion that we are separate. It is dissolving that illusion, is what has been coming through. So today, again, is this calendar convergence. So it's this golden intersection of timelines, today through tomorrow, I suppose, depending on where you are. So it's a moment when multiple calendars align, the Gregorian, the Mayan, and the galactic calendars, creating this energetic window. And it's basically a window of heightened coherence. So it's bringing us into this frequency of harmony. And this frequency is something that I've been feeling amplified for the past couple months, right? So for the autumn equinox inside the inner temple, we did the unison, the convergence, I forget what I called it, but that was the equinox activation. So it's really this whole expanded, extended unfolding of energies. Hello again on YouTube. And so it's this really beautiful unfolding that we're in the midst of. So today is opening a window to facilitate the dissolution of the veil that is coming through solar Samhain at the end of the month. And we're going to look at how Three-Eye Atlas is coming in to help activate that and assist that dissolution because of the specific alignments with the planets and the sun. It's really quite fascinating how beautifully orchestrated this is as it moves through the solar system at very specific points in time, approaching very specific planets as well. So I don't believe in coincidence. So I think it's quite extraordinary, honestly, how it's all coming together. So today, the harmonic convergence of the three calendars is, we can see this as a point of entry, like this opening of the doorway of the window. It's a threshold in and of itself, where the cosmic codes can then anchor and imprint more deeply into our hearts, into our consciousness. So the Mayan long count, the sacred Tzolk'in, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and then the Gregorian calendar are all being synchronized today by the golden ratio itself, the universal code of creation. So the Gregorian calendar is obviously a distortion, but today represents the date where the calendar basically resyncs and comes back into the 0 point field of true cosmic time, I suppose is one way of looking at it. So it's this synchronization node in the fabric of time space, that cosmic tapestry being woven with golden threads of truth is kind of how it's coming through right now. So it's a very unique moment where we have this possibility for past, present, and future timelines to kind of come together and even embrace each other as well. So it's quite beautiful. And it's just this reminder that time as a linear construct is just that. It's a construct, and that time is meant to be lived and felt, and that we're meant to be in this moment, experiencing life and celebrating life. And that's really the essence of this journey, right? To be present, to be fully present, whoopsies, in the body temple with our hearts, which is the portal to the cosmos, to all creation, to the source of wisdom, with our hearts fully opened. And this is how we then begin to weave our consciousness into the frequency of expanded consciousness of the cosmos, as we open our hearts and be fully present in the now, releasing sense of time, which as humans puts a sense of pressure and we're running out of time and so on and so forth. Could this be how we also begin to reverse aging, is something that's coming through right now, right? Letting go of this false construct of time. Is this how we stop the biological clock from progressing at rates that feel oppressive to us? So yeah, that's an interesting thought to come through. So where are we now in my notes? I have a lot of them and I then riff. So yes, this is basically, some people will call it Phi Day. So it's basically to remember that life is a living masterpiece. Life is your piece of art, right? And so this is kind of a reverberation of the harmonic convergence in 1987 as well. So we're kind of connecting with that original pulse, this idea of pulse, connecting with the heart of the cosmos. Our heart portal and the heart of Gaia has been coming through a lot as I've been tuning in with these energies. And so this is really that time to come into deep resonance with the cycles of time, but expanding beyond time space, right? So it's a golden opportunity, just anchoring in this kind of expansive frequency of moving beyond structure and construct. So heart as the center of peace, as the center of clarity, as the center of wisdom as well. So allowing our intention and thought to be aligned with this pure 0 point consciousness, where there is just pure love and pure possibility. So the 0 point represents pure infinite possibilities. So it's the source of all creation, and it is a point beyond any sense of resistance. So we get to bathe in the frequency of pure bliss, of pure love, of pure oneness. So this is basically, this golden intersection of timelines is bringing us into a time of oneness, so that unity consciousness, right? So we are being called to surrender to this higher order of the cosmos, and to surrender our ego, to surrender our all constructs of time and space and reality, and this kind of 3D limitation that we have placed on ourselves, and to just fully surrender to that higher consciousness, and to resync, to come into synchrony with the natural rhythms of the cosmos once again. So to really anchor into the resonance of source, of the original codes of life itself, of pure creation. So these codes of creation are wanting to be accessed once again, and I'm going to get deeper into that with the Holy Mother frequencies. So really anchoring into the crystalline core of Earth, of Gaia, and breathing with her heart will really help us to live that experience of the breath that nurtures union, the breath that nurtures the union within. It's union of heart and mind, of soul and the cosmos as well. So these are the energies that have really been coming through for this transmission, but to help us really anchor in collectively this new frequency of consciousness to help create, whatever you want to call it, new earth, heaven on earth, whatever terminology you resonate with. But this is an opportunity to become very conscious and aware of the pulse of the great cosmic mother, and to be conscious and aware and very devotional about how we work with those energies. So is this the end times, as Revelations would say, or is it just the end of time itself? I wrote about that in my book, and this is very much a moment where that is coming to genuine fruition, I feel. Because we're remembering that time is simply a linear construct, and that our souls are eternal and the cosmos are also eternal. So getting into Amahed, or Three-Eye Atlas, whichever term you prefer right now, it is said to be traversing, it is traversing if you look at the cosmos, the galaxy, whether or not you see it as a pure firmament or not. This is what it is reflecting to us. It is said to be traversing Sagittarius, Ophiuchus, Libra, Virgo, and even Leo. So this is creating a very symbolic arc, a symbolic pathway. So Sagittarius is like the archer, right? So it's like basically, what's that word? Like slingshotting, slingshotting us into this trajectory. So it's this kind of redeemer and victorious, triumphant energy that is the origin of this trajectory as well. So then in Ophiuchus is the serpent bearer, and the symbolism is the great healer. So again, as I already mentioned, just above it is the galactic center, which is the birthplace of our galaxy. So this is calling us to align with center, our hearts to align with the cosmic center. So the galactic center is basically our central sun, our source of consciousness. As I often say, the sun of our sun when I guide activations. So connecting with that Holy Father, Divine Masculine source principle specifically as well. So it's connecting us to source consciousness. So our attention then is being brought back to source, brought back to the center, to the galactic center, through this forgotten constellation, who is the great healer and serves as this golden gateway back into remembrance. So Ophiuchus, the great healer, then brings us into Libra, which is calling for balance, balancing of the scales, right? We can say heart and mind, but also masculine and feminine, because the next two constellations are Virgo, the harvest goddess, representation of the sacred feminine, but also specifically the great mother who can heal us, who restores us, who brings us back into balance through her purified womb, and then through Leo, or into Leo, I should say, which is divine masculine kingship energy, that royal authority coding being activated and anchored. So there's also, beyond this incredibly beautiful symbolism of the constellations, there's also this very interesting synchronization with its pathway as it passes specific planets in our solar system, and the actual moon cycles. And most of you here probably know that I don't really attune too much to the moon cycles because I see it as part of the matrix that is breaking down. But as we are still in this 3D reality and as the matrix is still breaking down, it's interesting to note that every single one is aligned with either the full moon or the new moon within just a couple days. So it's interesting to note, you know. So it passed Mars. It entered our system in the beginning of July is when it was first noticed, but it passed by Mars on October 3rd. So Mars represents, so this is just the other week, right? 10 days ago, 11 days ago. So Mars represents the third chakra, the solar plexus. So that's very much a masculine energy. Mars is often associated with war consciousness, right? Well, looking at what happened in the collective, it's actually quite interesting timing. Just after it passed by Mars, war consciousness, the kind of, you know, there's a lot we could say about Mars, which I won't get into, but right after that, Israel and, well, you know, the Middle East, they come to some kind of agreement, resolution. Time will tell whether it actually stays this time, whether they're actually able to maintain peace in the region. But I think it's somewhat noteworthy, if not very noteworthy, to consider that the harmonization frequency of this comet bringing through the frequency of union and pure love, within days, they finally reach a resolution of some kind. So interesting to note. And then we have, where's the date here for Venus? Venus, it will pass by Venus. It comes to the perihelion, which is its closest approach to the sun, on October 29th. And then, so that's within the Samhain portal. And then within days, November 3rd, it passes by Venus, its closest approach to Venus, which is the heart chakra. So Venus, having just passed by Mars, this is now giving us an opportunity to integrate the masculine and the feminine in the heart chakra, bringing us back into that sense of beauty and awe and union once again, of course, as well. So then in December 19th, it reaches its not perihelion, its closest approach to Earth itself. So this is bringing us back into the body temple 2 days prior to winter solstice and right around one of the moon conjunctions again, of course, new moon. It's specifically a new moon. So what are we giving birth to? Is what that's calling us into. So then finally, it leaves our solar system March 16th as it passes by Jupiter. Or that's like the last significant approach anyway. So this is 4 days before the spring equinox, and also in conjunction with another moon. I believe it's also a new moon. So here we have the frequencies of abundance, of expansion, prosperity, good fortune coming through and being activated to a higher degree. And Jupiter is connected with the solar plexus. So we can look at it as perhaps the higher expression of the solar plexus frequencies, a more sacred divine masculine frequency being activated to help us come into alignment with pure action and actually actualizing. I just said a lot of actually and action. And helping us step into that energy of actually doing the things. So merging the being with the doing as a being that is integrated in the polarities of the masculine and the feminine. So with this frequency of equinox being one of birth, it's a really beautiful balance of the masculine and the feminine coming together. But the Jupiter itself can also be associated with the third eye and the crown chakras. So this is bringing in that frequency of higher consciousness. So those creations and those actions being inspired and birthed through this frequency of pure source. So it's again that kind of living coding that is being woven through us as our hearts are connected to the cosmos, which we're working on doing now. So we have a lot of really incredible opportunities over this window of time to really turn within and tune in and really connect with these higher frequencies, these higher codings. So it's really very profound when you begin to put all these really specific pieces together. And so back to Mars and Venus briefly. So in their higher expressions, it would be the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine. And the Kali Yuga, of course, was entirely out of balance. And many people say at the equinox, we exit Kali Yuga formally. So people have different interpretations of precisely when the Kali Yuga ended. Some people said it was last year. Some people said it was the year before. Either way, we're in this transitionary process, exiting the Kali Yuga. When we look at these 26,000 year cycles, it's a transition. It's not necessarily one date, right? So we're restoring harmony to the masculine and the feminine through this entire transitionary time period. So March then at the equinox is the balance of dark and light. And when did the comet pass by Mars? Just after the autumn equinox, another balance point of light and dark. So are the dates precise? No, but when we're reconnecting with cosmic time, it's extremely insignificant in the grand picture if it's just a couple dates off, right? So when it passes by Venus, though, I think it's really beautiful that it's passing by when the veil is the thinnest. Everybody always says that Samhain is the time when the veil is the thinnest. And we have to be, cautious and protected at this time actually for that reason. But there's a reason Halloween is at that time. And when we're working with the solar aspect, the pure form and the pure energies coming through at that time, then we have an opportunity to go extremely deep within and to connect with that cosmic essence, that cosmic frequency. And as I was saying, I was getting dissolving the veil, like not just piercing the veil and the thinning and then it reforms. No, it's going to be dissolving from here on out. And so that's what the activation coming in early November is going to be about, if you want to go deeper with that. But this is basically the seeding of the energies for new life that will be nurtured through the winter solstice as well. And as these energies are coming in, we have to remember that, the planets are being activated perhaps with an even higher level of frequency and consciousness themselves, which means Earth herself is also being activated. Her ley lines are being activated to a higher frequency, and we are now having this capacity to hear and attune to the symphony of the cosmos, the harmony of the spheres, but also the heartbeat of Gaia herself is how that was coming through. So Earth is being activated and upgraded as we are being activated and upgraded, so we're working in tandem. And I'm just going to take a sip of water, so bear with me for a moment. Whoops. So, 3-eye Atlas also can't really ignore the fact that it has this third eye energy in the name. What's in a name? Quite a lot. So, Atlas is also the atlas bone, right? So it's the 7th vertebra. And when you adjust the atlas bone, it has the potential to produce a wave of healing throughout the entire body. And it can create this kind of third eye. What I'm feeling is this third eye adjustment that is bringing profound alignment, this harmony of the spheres, as above, so below, as within, so without. We're attuning to not the false firmament as above, but the organic starry night firmament as well. So our alignment is being adjusted, readjusted to come into organic alignment. So there is something ancient and primordial unlocking this gate through Ophiuchus, we could even say. And it's so fire and water, ice, all of these energies are encoded in a comet, right? But what I've been really attuning to is that it's more a frequency of plasma than anything, because if you look at zoomed in video, it's morphing and it's kind of this, well, yeah, it's I don't even know what the word is. It's plasmic. And so and plasma, as a lot of us know, is a carrier of code. So it's crystallized water, it's crystallized memory and consciousness. And I always associate plasma with the aurora as well. So aurora as this plasmic consciousness. So it's bringing in the full spectrum of consciousness, the rainbow spectrum of consciousness, as well as what I'm feeling. So when we oh, I just have more notes about, hang on. Yeah, okay, so I kind of have this in a couple different spots, apparently, different notes on the same thing. Yeah, so we have, so the flyby of the planet, I'll just say this to kind of bring that back together. So it's changing not just the frequency of consciousness of the planets that it's going by, but perhaps even the archetypal potential of the planetary field was also how it was coming through. And so as our chakras are potentially attuned to the planetary system, then our energy bodies are being activated in turn and upgraded to these higher archetypal frequencies. So yeah, coming back to Atlas, is it feels like it's this giant universal soul that is just blasting through the universe, through the cosmos, as a celestial messenger to kind of alert us in a sense, but also just fully wake us up to our connection to the cosmos, because we have the capacity to make this evolutionary leap in consciousness. And so each and every one of us are being granted this opportunity to really connect with and be activated by, to a higher level, this incredible celestial messenger. And it really does feel like it's a messenger of the feminine, in particular, because I was just feeling a feminine frequency coming through her. So before I get into Atlas and the messages that I received, I'm just gonna bring it back to some of the different esoteric spiritual perspectives that are out there in the field. So obviously a lot of people have said it's an alien ship and, some kind of extraterrestrial mothership. So because of the anomalies, even people in like the scientific community are suggesting it might be like that. So that it's artificial technology, and not entirely natural. So a mothership coming from another system, and some people are injecting a little bit of a frequency of fear or danger into it, and I absolutely do not feel that. So this is what I resonate with more so. So also with that ship, I do want to say that within the galactic spiritual community, that a lot of people are saying, oh, I astral projected onto the ship and this is what I saw. It was Lyran, or it was that, and I saw these beings and stuff like that. So I'm going to anchor that in by saying, why is everybody, oh, I see a hummingbird. Why is everybody seeing different things and perceiving different things? I think it is, and this is what lends to the theory that it is more of a plasmic energetic code carrier, that it is actually serving as a kind of a reflection of our consciousness, as well as a mirror showing us what it is that we need to see. So I think that is what is actually being transmitted and why people are perceiving it. It's like their particular, perhaps cosmic origins, or their frequency of consciousness, their level of consciousness, of interdimensional consciousness, is filtering what they're seeing when they attune to the ship, when they attune to the comet or three-eye atlas, or, you know, a cosmic being, however they're actually attempting to connect with it. I believe that what people are seeing is what they're ready to see or / needing to see based on their particular frequency of consciousness. So as this plasmic code carrier, some people are saying it's carrying codes directly from the Galactic Core, which I have, you know, shared a bit about already, the Galactic Core itself. So it's this higher dimensional intelligence. So it's a living field of consciousness, a living plasmic field of consciousness that radiates frequency and has this awakening and activating and upgrading potential. So it could just be that when people perceive different things, again, she is showing them specifically what they're, again, ready to see through the particular codes that they're able to integrate at that time. So, yeah, that's fine. So I do believe that it is kind of activating and awakening this memory. So I'll share the messages that I was receiving in a moment, but it's activating this higher consciousness and codes dormant in our DNA and light body. And so some people are saying that this is like a, you know, aligned with prophecy, which I'll get into some of the ancient prophecies as well as Atlas, but it's associated with particular star ancestors returning, so on and so forth. So, you know, what I'll recommend is I'm not going to say that it is this or it is that or it's not this or it's not that. I'm going to say connect and tune in with it yourself and see what it is that you're meant to see, I think, at this time. So, you know, it's also based on our own intention and openness, you know, what messages we might receive, what images we might see. So, you know, allowing yourself to just stay completely open to what they want to share, what she wants to share, you know, whatever the case may be, right? So let me take another sip of water. So one of the messages is that your soul is just so much bigger than any human construct. So that's just anchored in as a reminder, I think, as we're at this point of transcending time. And I shared a somewhat controversial, potentially controversial to certain people, podcast episode over the weekend, you know, the false god of religion. And I'm well aware that not everybody is ready, willing, or able to receive that message. And what my heartfelt response to that would be is that our soul is so much bigger than any religious construct, any human construct, and religion is a human construct, and she came through and, you know, just anchored that in as well. So what is her purpose is to help you remember your ancestors, not just those of your lineage, not just those of Earth, but those of the cosmos as well. So she holds frequency keys to unlock cellular memory is what I was receiving. And, you know, she kind of spoke to me. So she said, this is how I act as a mirror and am being perceived differently. It's partially based on level of consciousness and what someone is ready to see. And in part, people are seeing what they most need to remember. So I got that message directly from her when I tuned in. I'm piercing the veil, so to speak, but the frequency is to ripple through the quantum and dissolve the veil, the false firmament. So you can reconnect with your cosmic essence and origins and access the organic firmament, the matter or matrix of the starry night skies. My breath is meant to bring you back within. My breath is meant to nurture inner union, union of heart and mind and heart and cosmos. Conflict naturally resolves as the frequency of separation dissolves. People will finally start to remember how utterly ridiculous conflict is. That's what came through. As within, so without, you know you are the key. But we hold no judgment, as we know Gaia has been trapped. I come as an emissary of pure love, responding to the clarion call of the hearts of humanity and Gaia's own soul, to a pulse that rippled through space and time. It's time to remember the power you hold, not just as children of the cosmos, but as emissaries who came on a mission to support Gaia's liberation. So that's a message that she shared with me based on my consciousness and what I was open and ready to receive. So do I have a filter of perception? Perhaps. But I felt that they were very beautiful messages and reminders for us all. So take that as you will, as you integrate your own heart knowing, you know, as you connect, as you move forward and connect. And we'll do this. I forgot to mention at the beginning, like, yes, I'm going to be doing an activation in a moment, probably a shorter one, but to connect. So her messages, there we go. So there was something that I wanted to add at the end there as a specific, not a message from her obviously, but as a specific reminder, but that's okay. So okay, yeah, we'll continue with the flow as it is. So this is bringing us into the frequency, in my perception, of Holy Mother, of the feminine codes rising. So the convergence I feel that we're experiencing links to the feminine return. So this is opening the window for the mother codes, for the womb wisdom, the cosmic womb, and the Sophianic templates to re-enter the field of consciousness. So for ages now, obviously here on Earth, the masculine has dominated, of course, and now the cosmic mother is returning. She is being restored, is one way that I really feel is the most resonant way to feel into it. And she's here to really reweave that balance. So obviously, many of us have been feeling this for some time. This past spring equinox really have been anchored and in the process of restoring to enable that frequency of pure union to come through. And so as above, so below, it's coming up from the heart core of Gaia and now from the heart of the cosmos as well, the cosmic mother connecting to the womb of Gaia. So, we also have, there's Uranus, Sedna, there's more, as well as Venus. We have these frequencies of the feminine really being amplified at this time. I won't get into all of the different alignments with the new moon at the end of October, but there's a lot of planetary alignments that are very interesting then as well. So the way that I've been feeling it again is that the veil is not just thinning in the coming weeks, but it is dissolving. It is granting us access, direct access and connection to the cosmic primordial womb, the pure creation codes, the void point, if you will, without filters or distortions. So the starry night firmament is now replacing the false firmament, the matrix firmament. So we're looking at this happening through the cosmos as well. It's like Three-Eye Atlas is tearing this creating a tear in the veil that is then creating this ripple effect, a tear of pure love and light that is having I'm just like imagining it dissolving the veil, the false firmament, the false matrix, kind of like fire burning something, but like with gentle flames of love is kind of how I am visualizing it. It's kind of, I don't know if it's hard to sometimes convey my visions in words. But okay, so why Atlas? Why was the comet named Atlas? So Atlas is obviously the Titan who was quote unquote punished to hold up the sky. But what if he's actually holding up the veil? And then, now what if Atlas is shrugging and saying no more? It's time to stop holding up the veil, the illusion. So he is meant to have stood at the point where the heavens turned, to keep the celestial order from collapsing. So in theory, according to the mythology, the moment Atlas falls, the firmament splits and everything then, that has been concealed comes to light. And so we can see the firmament splitting as some cataclysmic event. But what if it's not a cataclysm, but a correction that is coming through? So if we have this comet, it's like it's curved unnaturally, and even the telescopes, started glitching as well at certain points. I think when it passed by Mars, like they couldn't like pick it up and stuff like that. So its abnormal behavior indicates that it is not just a regular comet. So looking at it through this lens of representation, what if Atlas was actually the last of the Titans to stand against the false gods? What if he actually was choosing that punishment to be a protector? So I think that's an interesting lens to view this through, right? They take everything organic and they corrupt, co-opt, invert, distort, because they cannot create anything unto themselves. They have to take what's already created and hijack, co-opt, distort, invert, And so when we look at the myths of the gods, there's a lot of deep resonance across many ancient myths and stories and legends. There's a lot of similarities, and what they have done is to control the storytelling of humanity. They've injected distortion. So, a lot of people out there speak 90% truth, and this is how they capture the consciousness of those awakening souls. 90% truth. So it sounds all perfect and amazing, but then they inject these subtle distortions of falsity, of illusion, of lies into that truth, like let's say 10%, right? And it could be even less. It could literally be 1% distortion, 2% distortion, but it's just enough distortion to keep people off the true path, to the true North Star, if you will. So this, I feel, could have potentially been the case with the myth of Atlas as well. So, what if this is symbolic of so much more? It's the resurrection and restoration of truth, of cosmic truth, of the masculine protector, the true divine protector, as well as the cosmic mother, who brings through the frequency of true love, unconditional love. Hi on YouTube. So we have the religious prophecies of, different ancient perspectives, call them religious or, whatever you want to, but ancient prophecies of skyfire, right? So in Revelations, the star falls and opens the bottomless pit. So that sounds a little bit dark, but what if the bottomless pit is a bottomless well of pure consciousness? And in Islam, it's Dabat al-Lard, I think, something pronounced like that, rises from earth when the heavens split. So again, we have this energy coming up from below, but again, what if that's just a little bit of distortion? So it's meant to represent, however, the day of judgment, to mark people as believers or disbelievers. And then Hindu, Kali rides in during the final age on a white horse of fire. So that's kind of interesting, right? The white horse of fire, the chariot through the sky, perhaps. The Hopi has the blue star Kachina. I think is how you say it, the celestial sign of the great purification. So we are going through a purification of consciousness and a purification of our actual body temples, our body vessels that hold the trauma, the energy, frequency distortions of the lineage and our childhood and even past lives in our etheric body. So we're being called to witness, to really tune in and to witness the pain so that we can bring it back into the frequency of love. And so that's what the purification really represents. It's the purification of our consciousness and our hearts and our minds and our souls. And every version of these prophecies brings this frequency of judgment, of cleansing, of reprogramming, right? So as we know, the false matrix, the veil has been layered with spells and tech and, barriers, false light barriers even, and they call it dead space. Well, what if space is very much alive and it's just pure life that we have access to? Nothing goes in, nothing goes out. And again, the timing of this all is very precise. So what if the judgment isn't on human souls, but on the system itself, on the grid, on the ones who overstepped pulling the puppet strings, even the false gods beyond the veil, perhaps, if you want to go there. So we are in this cycle of returning light. The Mayans, the Hopis, the Egyptians all spoke of a time when the star would return that wasn't a star at all. So when the sky opens and the gods descend, the Atlas gate is reactivating, right? So that we can look at this through multiple lenses, but I really am seeing this as all very deeply symbolic of corrections occurring in our universal time matrix to align Gaia back with organic original source coding. So Atlas is more now of, through this lens, more of a frequency of consciousness, not just a myth, perhaps even a title for great cosmic beings that are here as protectors of humanity who are now regaining access to us because the false gods have kept them away from us. So, there's so many different ways to look at this. I'm just sharing this as all information, not necessarily saying this is absolute truth, but different perspectives and lenses to look at this through, right? So, again, many ancients were pointing to this kind of window of time, and I think a lot of us are familiar with this, but just to anchor it in again, the Norse runestones, Sumerian tablets, Hopi petroglyphs, they were all pointing to this similar time convergence, the Mayan end of times in 2012, obviously, the end of time itself. So this reset that I feel we're going through is not one of destruction, but one of correction again. So the vessel is not a ship in the way that many are describing it to be, but a vessel of frequency, of codes, a library of codes even is one way to look at it, that is here to activate, to trigger remembrance. It's here to trigger deep remembrance within our hearts and souls and even ourselves of who we really are and what we're really here for. So he's acting then as a gatekeeper of cycles and triggering the soul memory and the activation of our third eye, opening up the seventh seal, but also bringing our spine into alignment even. So it's really these keys to awaken the sleeping giants is how it was coming through also. We're awakening the sleeping giants within us, within our consciousness, within our hearts and souls. Many of us are incredibly powerful souls that have completely forgotten who we are, right? So this sky, this firmament, they mapped it perhaps to trap us, the false as above. So the 12 zodiac versus the 13-14, if you include Orion as the silver gate, the gate of man. So the 13th and 14th were cut off. And so the comet moving through Ophiuchus so clearly at a very specific point in time is very deeply symbolic, I feel, to have us look back up. That silly movie came to mind earlier, Don't Look Up. what were they trying to do, right? They were trying to keep us focused on our mundane lives when really we're here to remember the magic of the cosmos that we are connected to. And so we're being redirected to look up and to reconnect with the true sky, perhaps. And, I've spoken about this a few times. I believe there's a lot of validity, and I still very much resonate with the tropical zodiac because I feel it's here to assist our ego's evolution. But just like, religion creates a frequency fence, a frequency trap, we've got to then reconnect also with the true sky, the galactic astrology, to allow our soul essence to come through. I connect with it as kind of the tropical is our ego and the galactic is our soul. So we've got to merge the two, ego in service to the soul. So what is your soul encoded to do versus your ego? So I think that's another interesting way to look at it. So just to, I already brought this back up, but Ophiuchus and the serpent wisdom archetype. So he is holding the serpent, not being, taken over by it, being, poisoned or bit by it or crushed by it. It is the serpent also in her pure form, the goddess. So the serpent does represent the shadow, yes, but it also represents the wisdom. So, eating from the tree of knowledge and stuff like that. So that's a whole other topic for another time, perhaps. But what Ophiuchus is really here to teach us is mastery, the path of mastery. So reconciling the inner serpent wisdom with soul remembrance. So it's that purified Kundalini energy being activated and awakened. So when we look at this, looking at the comet's path, it's kind of this crucible of wisdom initiation that we're being brought through. Because of this time as well, there's very much this crucible energy descending into the heart and womb when the veil is the thinnest at the time of Samhain, to really reconnect with the codes contained in the crucible itself, right? So Ophiuchus season runs from November 30th to December 17th. And I'll share very briefly that last year I had the most potent activation completely spontaneously at the exact start, the opening of Ophiuchus season, which I only put 2 and 2 together very recently. So I suddenly had intense pains in my abdomen and I was feeling fever chills come on. So I took a bath and, the pains started actually in the bath, but I felt the fever coming on and I realized I was processing. I went through this whole, all these things started to coalesce and converge, these activations of remembrance for myself. And I realized I was feeling and sensing the grief and the pain of the mother. The fear of being a bad mother personally, but also the pain of being a bad mother in past lifetimes or failing the children, right? If a child died through fever or something like that, or as somebody who had a position of being a, kind of a ruler in older times, failing the population, seeing the suffering of her people and failing as the mother, where we've been in this patriarchal society where like the kings were really the ones in charge, right? And then zooming out further to Gaia and feeling the pain and suffering of her children and feeling like she failed her children. And then zooming out to the Holy Mother of the cosmos, feeling like she failed all of her children of the cosmos to a degree, because Earth is still trapped in this prison. And until Earth is liberated and the humans on Earth are liberated, no being in the cosmos is truly, completely free. And so that's what I was feeling. And then I had an intense fever come on after the pain dissipated. I cried, processed the grief. And then I had this intense fever that came on. And I had the most incredible vision of the starry night sky and the sky. Some people were in my winter solstice activation last year and they would have seen this, but the stars then began to descend, and it was this no moon sky. There was no moon in the sky, and I was in a pure white snow winter clearing, and the stars were so bright and shimmering and alive in this velvety night sky. It was like the whole thing was living and alive, and the stars began to descend. And as they got closer, I realized each star was a pure shimmering white unicorn, and unicorns represent Christ consciousness. And then at the center was one that was larger and brighter and more beautiful and radiant. And I realized it was the Holy Mother holding the Christ child. And they all landed in the clearing, and it was the most beautiful vision and pure magic. And then, that was basically the vision itself. She kind of, communicated through her heart telepathically a little bit to me, but it was really just the frequency that she was bringing down. And then for the activation, that served as like the inspiration, and then it went in a whole process. But so this is the potency of the time of Ophiuchus. It was restoring me to the frequency of the Holy Mother, forgiveness, love, compassion, and, really anchoring that in through the heart and the womb, this heart-womb connection beginning to be restored as well. And so that's very much for all of us. We are in a process of restoration of our relationship with the Holy Mother, with the Mother, because a lot of us have deep wounds connected to the Mother. Even if our mother was, not a horrible mother, not consciously perhaps, a lot of us still just carry this deep trauma, because even if they weren't horrible, a lot of them just didn't know how to truly love unconditionally. And a lot of us on this path, we incarnated into bloodlines where there's a lot of ancestral lineage trauma. And so we are here to transmute that and to restore that for the lineage. I got a message from the ancestors the other day. I don't really connect very much with ancestors, honestly, because the ancestors themselves need healing. And so it was basically, thank you, you're following the path and doing the work. We need to do the work to liberate them as well. So it's really, again, an honor to be doing this work. Oh, cool. I see 1111 on the YouTube right now. Hello, everyone. Okay, so the spiral of time and the feminine restoration. So bringing it back to time. So when we reconnect with the organic cycles, we remember that time moves in a spiral. It is not linear in the way that we have our calendar and our week and so on and so forth. So there is this cyclical process that we go through that is represented most clearly by the seasons themselves, right? So this spiral of time model brings us through the descent, the collapse even, but then the resurrection and the restoration. So it's this death and rebirth process that the spiral of time really reconnects us to. So the feminine energy, which is spiral, is cyclical, has been systematically suppressed. But we are reawakening her in cycles. She is working through us. The feminine consciousness is working through us as we move through these different seasons and these different, these different like solar alignments, right? And so it's the sun that dictates the seasons, but it's the feminine consciousness of Earth that is creating this felt experience of the seasons, right? So this convergence that we're experiencing today, and this cosmic convergence that we're experiencing unfolding through the course of this transitionary time, it's really this spiral that is weaving through us, that is weaving us through the cosmos. So lost codes are being restored, and then we look at the spiral of the DNA. our DNA is being reactivated. And so when we can align with that spiral frequency of time, then our DNA coding becomes more attuned to the pure frequencies as well. So the feminine restoration does not at all oppose the masculine. I think probably most of us here do know that, but just to reiterate that this is not at all about the feminine surpassing the masculine and going into a matriarchy. This is about coming into true balance, to true harmony, to true union coding. So union of the masculine and the feminine. So it reunites, the feminine rather reunites with the masculine in this union template. So remember, Amahed, the other name for Three-Eye Atlas, means the breath that nurtures union, the breath of life, the breath of the cosmos that is here to return us to the remembrance of union. So this is how it's been coming through. And I am going to take another sip of water, and I'm going to, in a moment, bring us into a short activation, guided meditation. Let's see what comes through. I've had a couple little glimmers of what we might go through. So yeah, take a moment if you need to get a sip of water. I don't know, I'm just gonna check the chat here. I think people have really just been tuning in and absorbing. So take a moment if you like. And I just want to, while we take this moment, I'll share more about the exciting thing after, but I just want to quickly remind everyone that I will be hosting Dissolving the Veil, which I feel will be a continuation, don't know why I had trouble with that word, of this process in the beginning of November 6th on Solar Samhain, which is going to be a few days after Amahed, Three-Eye Atlas passes Venus. So beautiful heart energy is going to come through with that. And you know, I was already planning that before I attuned to the movements of this cosmic emissary. And so we'll be doing that, and that is available separately on its own or through my inner temple, which grants people access to 6 other courses and a whole vault of masterclasses and activations. So yeah, there's a lot included in there. So if you're feeling the call, and that's open to both men and women. So any and all are welcome if you're feeling the call to go deeper. And yes, there's a lot of magic, but a lot of wisdom, specific wisdom as it's been coming through. I created a whole library basically over the last several years. So it's all there. And yes, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit more later for the women. This one is for the women because it's very focused on the womb and the mother restoration for the women. It's this incredible, beautiful container that I will be hosting starting the week after. So included will be that activation and winter solstice and the 6 weeks in between the two. I'll be hosting this container, so I'll share more about it, but it is the cosmic womb, and I am incredibly excited about what has come through for that. So if you're interested, I'll be sharing more about that, and it's quite accessible price-wise, because I want people to be able to afford the investment and be able to engage with these teachings and these energetics. So yes, without further ado, I invite you to take a moment to just settle in, get comfortable in your chair, close your eyes, and begin to deepen your breath. Beginning to bring your awareness to the inhale and the exhale as you slowly begin to let go of any tension and thoughts, any attachment to the thoughts. Allowing this beautiful breath of life to begin to bring you deeper into your body and into heart-mind union, into union with your body temple. And with your next inhale, begin to imagine a beautiful golden light flowing in, filling up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. Imagining this golden light growing brighter. And exhaling this beautiful golden frequency out through your veins, down into every cell. Allowing yourself to surrender fully to the moment. And with your next inhale, make this the longest, deepest, slowest breath of your day, filling all the way up with this beautiful golden light, allowing it to fill your chest. Feeling your inner heart light grow brighter. And as you exhale, feel it flowing down through your veins, through your lymphatic system, into your cells, your tissues, your organs, your DNA, and out through your pores to fill up your entire energy field, your entire aura, filled with this beautiful light of connection and protection. Calling in now your sovereign field of protection, connecting and calling in Holy Mother, Holy Father, God, your higher self and Holy Spirit, the Christ Sophia, and the angels, guides, and guardians assigned to you by God of the highest frequencies of truth, love, and light in service to the sovereign law of oneness and harmony. Commanding a pillar, a sacred pillar of order and harmony to surround and protect your field. Opening a 12th dimensional vortex of Christ platinum light to the celestial realms, gridded in diamond and rainbow light. Will now command and build the 12th dimensional and above diamond shield, connecting with the frequency of the divine masculine Holy Father principle 300 feet above you, the sun of our sun, the great central sun, from the galactic core, streaming down these beautiful golden white divine light frequencies like a waterfall flowing down through your crown, all the way down through your central column, connecting with the root chakra, flowing all the way down to the soles of your feet, connecting your soul through the soles to Gaia, and breathing this beautiful golden white light of the Holy Father, divine masculine principle, into your heart space to merge with your inner heart light. Feeling that frequency grow brighter and expanding out into your aura, into your energy field, fortifying your inner egg of protection. Breathing into your heart, feeling that golden ball of light now begin to descend through the root, through the soles of your feet, down into the Earth Star Chakra, 12 inches below your feet. Descending now all the way down into the crystalline core of Gaia, of Mother Earth, connecting with her plasmic iridescent crystalline heart. Feeling the pure, unconditional love of the Holy Mother, her beautiful, flowing plasmic iridescence beginning to flow up as if through roots, through the core, all the way up to connect with your Earth Star chakra, to build a circular diamond shield of light, expanding out a few feet around you, creating a base shield, as if like a floor of protection, of protective light being built at your Earth Star chakra. And now imagine that light flowing up through your energy field, as if through this column of light that surrounds your energy field, this beautiful crystalline diamond plasmic light of pure Holy Mother love flowing up through your central column, all the way up to your crown and down into your heart, where it merges with the beautiful golden light of the Holy Father, Divine Masculine Principle, and your inner heart light, to birth the Holy Trinity and the Holy Child within. Feeling this golden white iridescent light growing brighter, expand it out now from your heart space to fill up your energy field and completely surround it with this fortified, impenetrable diamond shield of light that surrounds your entire expanded energy body, your expanded energy field, surrounding all of your extended chakra system, feeling completely held, connected, and protected. I invite you to come into your heart space now. Imagine 5 golden steps appearing before you now. And begin to slowly descend them. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And before you stands a beautiful, shining, shimmering emerald portal, an emerald door that opens into the infinitely faceted diamond crystalline chamber of your heart. You step in and look around and feel the frequency of pure infinite possibility. The facets shimmering and reflecting colors beyond our visible spectrum, reminding you of the eternal expanse of the cosmos and the possibilities that are available to you. Notice one of the facets shimmering brighter, glowing, and growing, inviting you to step forward. Connect with the frequency of the color. And as you connect, the facet becomes a plasmic portal. And you step through, feeling its essence surround and infuse your entire energy field with this particular frequency, this frequency of remembrance, of activation flowing through you now. As you step into the rose garden of your heart, your sacred temple of your heart rests at the center of this rose garden. And you step into the temple and find yourself in the center of a chamber that has a pool right there at the center, reflecting the cosmos above, this beautiful garden illuminated under the night sky by this essence of bioluminescence and stars that are brighter than you could possibly imagine. Shimmering so bright, it feels like you could reach up and pluck one out of the sky, like diamonds in pure velvety blackness, waiting for you to reach up and touch them and connect with them. Above the pool is an open ceiling, revealing the starry night above. And you gaze down at this pool reflecting pure, sparkling, shimmering potential, this expanse of blackness punctuated by an infinite expanse of diamonds. And the next thing you know, you feel yourself step up to the edge, and you feel the call in your heart, the whisper in your soul, guiding you, telling you, your higher self reflecting back to you, inviting you in. And the next thing you know, without thought, without questioning, without doubt, you dive into the pool. And as you dive in, you feel yourself immersed in this pure, warm, plasmic essence of love, of possibility. And you open your eyes to see yourself surrounded by pure magic, by the pure, infinite expanse of the cosmos. And it's not just pure black. It is alive, it is bright, it is colorful. Galaxies spread out before you, stars shimmering, smiling, beaming pure love back at you. And you feel it. You feel the love. You feel the joy. You feel the awe, the wonder, the beauty, the bliss, the magic, infusing your heart and your mind. You're laughing like a child who has just been granted the keys to the universe because you have. Feel this wave of love, this wave of bliss flow through you as you feel yourself embraced by the warm blanket of the cosmos. It is not empty, but the essence of pure wholeness. You feel full in a way you never have before. And you glance up, noticing something growing brighter, something shining, sparkling, approaching. And your soul, connected to earth, tethered with pure love, begins to soar through space and time to meet this pure, magnificent emissary of love. This beautiful comet of light, of shimmering diamond essence, hurtling through the sky as if racing to meet you. And as you get closer, you feel the warmth of pure love, the essence of the plasmic aurora consciousness, this opalescent, iridescent essence beginning to surround you as if a celestial emissary straight from the heavens. You approach this being that appears like a comet, but is a great being of pure love, a giant soul carrying forth consciousness of remembrance of this pure essence of love. And as you breathe her in, your lungs expand, your heart expands, and you realize she is the essence of pure life. Not just love, but life itself, the essence of pure creation, filling you up with this miracle of life that is healing, that is restoring, that is activating. You meet her in embrace, and telepathically, she communicates to you a message, heart to heart, to help you remember what you are here to remember. So what is it that your heart is ready to receive? Allow yourself to simply receive the message encoded with love, encoded with the essence of pure life, breathing you back to life. Back to remembrance of the truth of who you are. Allowing this to settle in, feeling a sense of love, of bliss, of peace. She energetically gives you a hug and a wink and says, "Let's go." As you begin to race through time and space, returning to the essence of a pure, holy child, you look around and soak it all in, the pure majesty, magic, and miracle of the cosmos. A grin spreads across your face as you remember just how loved you are and just how much magic you hold. Your entire being is sparkling with the sense of activation and remembrance. You can feel it, the sparkling energy flowing through your veins, into your cells, into your DNA. And the cosmic mother begins to breathe through you as you flow through her cosmic womb. You feel one with her and all of her creation. And I'm ahead as your guide, or three-eye Atlas, begins to bring you back closer to Earth, your home, and you begin to notice from up above this beautiful pulsating of this blue and emerald pearl surrounded by this increasingly evident rainbow iridescent essence, like her aura is beginning to shimmer with the full frequency spectrum of light. And you can feel her pulsating heart beating through the cosmos, through the fabric of creation, through the quantum. You feel your heart beginning to reconnect with hers. This great cosmic being who has been your guide gives you a hug, an energetic hug of pure love, embraced in the frequency of pure bliss and pure peace and harmony. You feel kissed by her breath as you slowly begin to descend back down to Earth through the center, the opening in the ceiling of your temple, your inner heart temple, and you land next to that cosmic pool, and its reflection holds a depth and nuance it didn't before. You can see the galaxies, you can see the full frequency spectrum of possibility contained within that pool, that deep well of wisdom and pure potentiality that resides within the center of your heart. And your higher self is gazing back at you, fully formed, and you feel a merging of your higher self's essence into your heart space. Breathing this in, this essence, this energy of pure love that is now living in your heart. You move through the garden back towards the portal, that frequency of possibility, stepping back into the crystal and diamond of your heart, knowing that you can return here to this garden, to this pool, to the arms of the mother anytime. Taking another look around the crystalline chamber, noticing all of the incredible possibilities that await, the potentialities that exist, the remembrance that is held here. you now step back through the emerald portal, seeing those 5 golden steps appear before you, ascending them now slowly with reverence for yourself, coming back into your body slowly, gently, beginning to focus on the breath. Coming back into the here and now. Allowing your breath to bring you back into presence. Feeling a sense of gratitude for this miracle that is life, that is this body temple. And when you're ready, begin to bring back a little movement to your fingers and toes, your shoulders, move your hips perhaps. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. So that was a fun one. That was a beautiful journey. So yeah, taking a moment, if you would like to share in the comments, either here on Zoom or on YouTube, to share anything that came up. I'll see if I can catch the comment before it disappears on YouTube. Yeah, let me know how that was for you, how it felt. And I invite you to really take some time over the coming weeks. And of course, I'll be hosting the Dissolving the Veil activation in just a few weeks. If you'd like to join that and be held in another container, we're going to do an even deeper activation for that one. But I invite you to really take time to consciously connect with your heart and with the heart of the cosmos over these coming weeks and months, because I feel there is just so much incredible potential contained in this time. Devin, I see, yeah. Yeah, so do remember that when we work with these high frequencies, they can bring up some stuff that will take a moment to integrate. So again, that purification energy is here to purify the vessel, the consciousness. Okay, Sheila, I see your comment. Beautiful. I'll reach out to you. And that we are here to really allow this process to move through us at a cellular level, and it's not easy. So to be really gentle and mindful of how these energies are affecting us and impacting us. But just like any detoxification, there are moments where if we go really deep, it can feel a little worse, but feels better. So because that integration process has to occur, we have to clear out the old before the new can integrate, right? So that's what happens if sometimes you experience physical sensations or emotional releases, purges, clearings. That's the reason it's all happening. So trust the process. And I'm always here if you have questions or if something is coming up that's feeling really challenging. Please, of course, always feel free to reach out to me. I have a lot of tools. The Inner Temple also has a lot of tools. But hydration above all, honestly, just pure water. drinking and nourishing your body with high frequency foods. Yeah. So there's a lot that can occur during these processes and activations. So I just saw visions of colors in your third eye as a comet. That's really beautiful and lovely. Yeah. So yes, I would love to just share a little bit more about the cosmic womb as well, that I'll be hosting between solar Samhain and winter solstice for the women. Apologies, men, but of course you are welcome, more than welcome, inside the inner temple and everything else. It's just this one was coming through because of the womb frequencies. And yes, this will be up for replay if you missed the beginning or just want to tune back in. And the Zoom recording will be in the inner temple as well. So the cosmic womb is really about the planetary return of the divine feminine that is occurring through our vessels. So this came through as an inspiration just recently, actually, because of the time period that we're entering. I was very clearly guided to hold this space. Hello to Hawaii. Because now is the time to dissolve the dark mother imprints and clear out the separation overlays. And a lot of us carry through our wombs, the women and the divine feminine, this dark mother imprinting, as well as fallen masculine energetics. So I do a lot of this restoration and clearing in my one-on-ones. Anybody who's done my crystalline womb healing, I did an incredibly powerful and deep one yesterday with an incredibly brave and powerful soul. So sending lots of love and deep honor to you. It was truly such an honor. It's such an honor to hold this space, to hold the container for this process to occur, for this unraveling, for this unfolding as well, for this deep remembrance to occur. And sometimes we really have to allow ourselves to witness some of the stuff that we don't want to witness because it's so heavy, but then that creates the window for liberation. So the grail lines are awakening, the Sophianic templates are being reactivated. Some of us hold very specific coding that has been, I don't want to get too much into the darkness, but that has been heavily targeted and attacked because they don't want us restoring these codes, because that remembrance will help to heal the entire planetary grid as well. So we're restoring the connection with the heart womb, and we're restoring the Holy Trinity architecture. So the Mother's Return is really restoring safety and belonging and remembrance of our cosmic origins. And one of the primary things we're going to focus on are somatics and embodiment practices to assist the nervous system in regulating and integrating these incredibly high frequency codes, because it can be very challenging to step forward and to feel safe in your creative essence when you carry this history, this soul remembrance of being targeted and persecuted, which a lot of us have. And I know this is for the men too. Men carry that as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm open to doing a separate workshop for the men too, if there's that's just kind of coming through now. I don't want the men to feel neglected, but obviously women have a lot of restoration to do, and I am a woman, and this is the work that I have been doing, and so I felt very clearly guided, and it just all coalesced in the most beautiful way to create this container of support for the great nervous system reset, and to move through this starry night dark firmament threshold. As the veil is dissolving, we're gaining access to the organic starry night coding. And this is the cosmic womb, the primordial source from which all of creation is birthed. So it's a 6-week process of the planetary return, initiation into the cosmic mother void. So again, restoring our relationship, our direct relationship with the organic Holy Mother, and then womb sovereignty, reclaiming that sense of sovereignty over the womb space. So doing that clearing and restoration of the pure Sophianic creation frequency. And then starry night descent as well, receiving those organic firmament codes, somatic system reset to merge the two currents into harmony, working with the vagus nerve as well. And then the starry night activation. So restoring fully the safety of receiving codes of abundance and opulence, the opulence of the womb as a source, a portal of pure creation and abundance and wealth and opulence. So then we'll complete the 6-week process itself with anchoring and living. So how do we really embody the frequency of the Holy Mother and the Alasia Sophia flame and Mother Arc frequencies? We're going to work with those. And then the completion ceremony with the winter solstice activation. Though, to be very clear, I think I've made that clear, but just to reiterate that the solar Samhain dissolving the veil and the winter solstice activations are open to all, not just for this container, but they are included in this container. So this isn't about another course. It is a learning to a degree, but it is more so a deep soul level integration and remembrance process. So that's the intention, is a true energetic restoration of your coding. So I will leave it there. For anybody who has questions, you can email me, amanda@illuminawisdom.com, but I will add the link I'll add it in the Zoom chat, and for YouTube, I don't know if I can add it there, but it's illuminawisdom.com/cosmic-womb. So all the information will be there, and there are payment plans, and it's really, I think, a very reasonable investment, looking at the entire energetic that is included. And a lot of courses go for a lot of money out there, and I'm really not trying to be in the frequency of extraction, but true energy exchange. So but yeah, I like this to be accessible to as many people as possible. So reach out with any questions, and I do my best to be flexible. So if there are other arrangements that we can come to agreement upon, I already offered a few different options. There's also an upgrade option to get some one-on-one support within the frequency of this container. So with all of that said, I think, so yeah, just to remind you, there's the dissolving the veil is separate on its own and a part of the inner temple, okay? So you get a lot more included with the inner temple, so really it's kind of a no-brainer investment if you're wanting some support on your journey, but it is available separately as well as just a one-off. And then the cosmic womb includes both of the 2 upcoming ones, and then the inner temple is a year-long. We work with the solar so the next one would be in February, and the one after that, the equinox, the spring equinox, which I feel is going to connect to this very beautifully as well, of course. So yeah, those are all available. Just, go to illuminawisdom.com, and I think I don't know if the cosmic womb is on the homepage, but it's an easy one, cosmic womb, if you want to just type it in. So yes, so let me just bring this to formal completion. So again, this is sacred time over the coming months. So I encourage you to journal, to meditate, to be in nature as much as possible, connecting with Earth, with Gaia's song, and with the cosmos as well. So focus on your body temple. Do a detox if you need to, a physical detox, but ask yourself, what is ready to be remembered? What is ready to be reclaimed right now? So there is just so much energy that is assisting us in this process of both restoration and liberation. And remembrance that we are part of this greater tapestry that is being woven through the cosmos. So we're moving beyond time and space into this frequency of eternal love. Is I think what that's really being activated within us is that remembrance of eternal love. So this is simply an invitation for us all, I feel, to walk through this threshold into the unknown, into deep remembrance of who we really are. So with that said, I'm going to formally close out the transmission with deep gratitude and honoring for all of you who have chosen to show up and walk the walk. And YouTube, I'm sending you so much love, and I'm going to end the transmission, and on Zoom I'll keep it on for some moments. So thank you so much, beautiful souls, onward and upward in love and light as we journey home to the heart of truth, and I hope to see you again soon. So let me see if I can figure out YouTube. Just X, stop streaming.